What is international trade? International trade refers to the exchange of goods, services, and capital between countries. It allows nations to specialize in producing goods and services they can produce most efficiently, while importing those they cannot produce as effectively. This process fosters economic interdependence and can lead to improved global living standards. The two nations with the biggest economy and highest incomes in the world are the United States and China. However, in 2018, the US-China relationship was strained as a result of China's economic growth. Thus, this is one of the things that occurs when the United States and China impose tariffs, export taxes, and indirect taxes on each other.
中国才会好，中国好，世界会更好。
China this month celebrates the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road Initiative, which ranks as the world's biggest development program ever undertaken by a single country. Over the last 10 years, the BRI, as it's generally called, has seen Chinese financial institutions lending close to $1 trillion to finance infrastructure projects all over the developing world. With me to discuss all this is Yunnan Chen, a researcher at ODI, a global affairs think tank. Yunnan, could I start by asking you, in your view, generally speaking, has the BRI been a success?
So when the
ASEAN has become the biggest trading partner of China. ASEAN has been greatly connected with China.
The Belt and Road has brought celebration to some, despair to others.
In the last few years especially, we've seen an astonishing number of loans that have been assessed as non-performing and have been written off.
As China marks 10 years of the BRI, Insight examines how it has changed the world and how it will evolve moving forward.
President Trump has to implement strict economic measures, including high tariffs and strict quotas, in response to US concerns about China's ascent through the BRI mega project.
The BRI is a gigantic plan for a global network of ports, roads, railways, and other infrastructure to connect China to the world.
我们的共同目标是携手努力让各国互联互通更加有效。
The most expensive infrastructure project in history.
The Belt and Road Initiative, a boom, a bust, or just a buzzword?
It is also a way through which China confirms its role as a global power.
The US and other Western countries are worried and recently announced their own plan.
We think that there's a much more equitable way to provide for the needs of countries around the world.
Joe Biden launched the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity with the prime ministers of Japan and India, while 10 other leaders followed the meeting online.
We're writing the new rules for the 21st century economy. They're going to help all of our countries' economies grow faster and fair.
One goal of the framework is to make supply chains more resistant. For example, to secure supplies of computer chips, which are urgently needed in the auto and high-tech industries. Infrastructure is another key element. There is a massive need for new roads, ports, and energy projects in the failure. Whatever the name of the Regional Cooperation Framework, it should promote free trade instead of engaging in protectionism in disguise. The U.S. aims to make the Indo-Pacific countries more attractive as manufacturing hubs. Members of the new group are also concerned about China's increasing assertiveness and welcome the U.S. focusing more attention on the Indo-Pacific region.
Impact of tariff. BEPS tariffs on the steel and aluminum industry in the United States. Local producer protection. Tariffs of 25% on steel and 10% on aluminum help protect us domestic industries. Local steel producers, such as the U.S. Steel and Nucor, reported increases in profits. Investment increase. Some companies invest to increase domestic production capacity, which leads to the creation of new jobs in the sector. Higher production costs. Major users of steel and aluminum, such as automakers, construction companies, and equipment manufacturers, reported rising raw material costs. Counter-tariff increase. China introduced additional tariffs on more than 70% of US imports, including agricultural products such as soybeans, pork, and dairy products. China's average tariff rose from less than 10% to more than 18%. Market diversification. Reducing dependence on the U.S. China is shifting steel and aluminum supply sources to other countries, such as Brazil and Australia, to mitigate the impact of US tariffs. Global market instability with rising costs and supply chain disruptions. Global economic growth is slow, especially in developing countries. US-China relations. Diplomatic tensions rise with competition in trade and technology. Other countries had to adapt by choosing between two superpowers. Conclusion. Tariff wars have a negative impact on the global economy and geopolitical relations, creating long-term uncertainty. Economy subsidies between export tax. Subsidies. For China, China has implemented significant subsidies to promote the use of new energy vehicles, NEVs, including pure electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids. In 2022, the production and sales of new energy vehicles more than doubled, exceeding 2.6 million units in the first 6 months for United States. In the United States, Intel has invested more than $32 billion to build 2 new chip factories and modernize existing facilities at its Ocotillo campus in Chandler, Arizona Intel Download Center. This investment is expected to generate up to $7.86 billion. Tax in the United States can divide into 3 categories, which include import duties, tariffs, port maintenance fee, AMF, and federal excise tax, FET. For import duties, tariffs, the import duty rates in the United States vary depending on the product and its classification in the Harmonized Tariff Schedule, HTS. Duty rates can range from 0% to several 100% of the product value on. Port maintenance fee, HAMF. This fee is imposed on maritime cargo shipments entering U.S. ports to help fund port maintenance and improvements. Federal excise tax, FET. This tax is imposed on certain goods such as alcohol, tobacco, motor fuel, firearms, and ammunition.
Tax in China, value-added tax, VAT. China has passed a new law to restructure the VAT system, which will take effect on January 1, 2026. The system provides exemptions for key sectors such as agriculture, research equipment, and welfare services. Import duties, tariffs. This tax is imposed on certain goods such as alcohol, tobacco, motor fuel, firearms. Import duty rates in the United States vary depending on the product and its classification in the Harmonized Tariff Schedule. Xiao. Duty rates can range from 0% to several 100% of the product value and ammunition. Foreign investment initiatives. China has also introduced tax incentives to attract foreign investment, which could have an impact on other countries such as Malaysia. Federal excise tax, FET. This tax is imposed on certain goods such as alcohol, tobacco, motor fuels, firearms, and ammunition.
Economic tensions between the United States and China began with a tariff war in 2018, when the U.S. imposed import duties on steel and aluminum from China. In response, China introduced retaliatory tariffs on US products such as soybeans and technology goods. This move not only affected the trade relations of the two world powers, but also caused disruptions in the global supply chain, rising costs, and market uncertainty.